Hello there. Welcome to yet another episode. My name is Simon, and these are the Cab Python series. So, in this episode, we are going to be looking at, we are going to start with this episode and we try to see some of the data structures that we use in Python. Data structures, they help us to know how we store data when we are writing our programs. We're going to explore different kinds of data structures that are very crucial that we can use in our programs. Because in one of our episodes, we looked at variables, but a variable stores only one object. So you want to be storing only one object. You would need a data structure that stores more more data for you other than just storing one object or one element. So in today's episode, we are looking at lists. A list, we looked at them, though not in details, when we are dealing with loops. So today we are going to dig deep into lists. We see how they operate and things like that. So a list is a collection of items that are ordered, changeable, and allow duplicate values. Lists are one of the most common and flexible data structures in Python, ideal for storing multiple items in a single variable. So we are going to consider a list to be a single variable, but then storing more than one element other than the normal variable which we know. And then we are saying a list is the items are ordered, which means they come from index 0 up to the last index, and then they are changeable. If you assign a value, let's say an item is at index 0, you have a chance to change it and give it another value at that same index. And then they allow duplicates. You can have items which look alike in the same list. Okay, yeah, so, okay, to create lists, you just use those square brackets. This is the difference between a list and any other data structure, or it differentiates it from just having one variable. When you're creating a variable, you just say maybe name equals to this, max equals to this, and you assign one value. But here, since we are having more than one items that we are storing in our list, we store those items inside those square brackets. Okay, let's jump into VS Code and we see exactly what we are talking about. So I want to create a list to store names of some people. So I'll call it, can I call it names? You will excuse my voice. I have some bit of a cold. So regardless, we move. Okay, so I want to store that. This is the syntax. So whatever I'll put inside those square brackets are the elements of my list, which is called names. So since they are names, of course, there will be strings. But what you should know is that you have a chance to store different types of data types. You can mix integers with strings, with booleans, with floating values, and so on. So you have a chance to mix. We shall see that. But since we have declared that we are storing names, we can try to put some string values here from names. We can have, let me first do this. Okay, so let me try to store some names here. I have Simon, I can have Peter, I can have Anita. I can have Ivan. I can have Job. Okay, can I add more? I can have Dennis. So this is my list that I have created. It is a list containing names of some people. So normally, if you were using the variables, you would need to create a variable for each of these names, which is not so ideal. So here we are just creating a list, so where we are storing all these names. So if I want to print this list, I'll just say print, then I say names like that. Okay, you can see my list is printed here. All the items or all the names have been printed. Now let's say I want to print only. If you want to print, we are saying accessing list items, meaning you want to access a specific item. You want to access a specific name. You don't want to print everything. There, we use indexing. Indexing meaning we access an element according to its index in this list. The first item here, or the first name, Simon, that is index 0. So I hope we know that in programming, we always begin from 0. And then the last item here is the length of this list, and then -1. What is the length of this list? I don't want to count that manually. I will just say len. I use the method called len to tell me how many items are in this list. Yeah, so I have 6 items in this list. So it means the last item is having index 5. How this is clear. The Simon is 0, Peter is 1, Anita is 2, Ivan is 3, Job is 4, and then Dennis is 5. So the last item is always the last item -1. The length of the list -1, sorry. So if I want to print a specific element without printing the whole list, I'll first of all put the name of the list and then put the index of the item that I want to print. Now I want to print Anita. Anita is at which index? This is 0, 1, 2. So Anita is at index 2. So I'll put here square brackets and then I put 2. When I save and run, yeah, we are seeing Anita only. So if I want to change and print Dennis, we say Dennis is at index 5. I'll put here 5, save, and there we go. So that's how we access specific elements from our list. Okay, what else do we have here? If we want to modify the list items, let's say I want to change the name Ivan and change it to what? I want to change the name Ivan, which is at index 0, 1, 2, 3. Ivan at index 3. I want to change it to maybe Bob. I would say names, then it is at index 3. I want to assign it something else, Bob. So when I say, and okay, let me first print before. When I now print names, you see that, yeah, you can see that we no longer have Bob, Ivan, and we have Bob because I have changed it here. This is what we said, that the items in a list are modifiable. You have a chance to change any element to anything else as you keep writing your code. Okay, so that is modifying. Then we have different list methods that we use to do different things. We have the append method, adds an element to the end of the list. when you are dealing with programming, you are going to deal with append a lot. So how does append work? We are saying append adds an element at the end of the list. So let's try to add, we use append and we add one more name to this list. What do we want to add? Maybe we want to add Momo. Okay, we have added Momo. So this Momo, we expect Momo to be added at the end of this list after Dennis. Let's save and run, and there we go. Momo has been added at the end of the list. So that's what append does. Just gets an element and puts at the extreme end. We come here and still we say append and we give another name, it will be put after Momo. So that's append for you. And then insert, it inserts an element at a specific index in the list. So unlike append, which adds an element at the end, insert gives you a chance to choose the index where you want to insert the element. So let's say I want to add, whom should we add to this list? Whom should we add? We add John. Okay, sorry, what am I doing? What am I doing? Just a minute. Okay, so I want to use insert and add an element to a specified index. So still I'll say names dot insert. So insert, like you are seeing the syntax here, you put the list name, then dot insert method, then inside these brackets you put the index where you want to place the element, then you put the element's name. So here, if you want to put the element at index 0, you write 0 here. Then you write the element which you want to be added to the list. This is how that method works. Yeah, so let's see that. So I want to add gems to this list. Where should we add gems? Let's add gems at index 1, where you see it. So I do that, and I say gems. Okay, then when I print names, I hope you can see at index 1, we now have gems. But Peter, which was initially at index 1, has been pushed to index 2. So whenever you do that, whenever you add an element to an existing index, it will just push the item at that index to the next index, and every item will be pushed a step forward. So each of these items which follow gems have been pushed an index, one index in front. And that's what has happened here. That's insert for you. Oh, there's some bit of noise here, but let's move on. Then remove method removes the first occurrence of the specified element from the list. Okay. So how does it work? Let me first remove this since it has already worked. I now want to use remove. So we can say names dot remove. How it works, you say list dot remove, then you put the element which you want to be removed, and the first occurrence of that element will be removed from the list. Why are we saying this? Remember, we said you have a chance to put duplicate elements here. We shall try it here, and you see there is a chance to have more than one similar a similar item will have appearing more than once. So when you have such a scenario and you're using the remove method, for it to remove the item which occurs first. Let's first see that. So let's say I want to remove Ivan. Okay. Yeah, I want to remove Ivan from this list. Okay, then I put Ivan, save and run. So Ivan has been removed. So let's say I have two occurrences of Ivan here. Let me put another Ivan here at the end. Okay, and to put another Ivan, then save and run. So you've seen that the Ivan at index, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, at index 3 has been removed, but the last one has not been removed. So for it removes the one it meets first. And that's how the remove method works. Then after remove method, there is a pop method. So pop method removes and returns the element at the given index. If no index is specified, it removes the last item automatically. So the syntax is that list.pop. Let's see how it works. Let's say I've used it here and said list.pop, list.pop. So when I do this automatically, you are going to see what happens. So you can see that Ivan here has been deleted and the last item is now Dennis. And that's what pop does. But if you want to remove an item at a specific index, let's say I want to remove Peter. Peter is at index 1. So here I'll give 1, save and run. You see now Peter is gone and the rest are there. And that's how pop works. So you can see that this one is a little bit better than remove. You just specify the index of the item which you want to remove. Unlike remove, which you just remove one element, pop can remove uh, all kinds of elements so long as you specify the index. If you do not specify the index, it just removes the last item. That's pop for you. Then sorts the elements of a list in ascending order. Okay, ascending order. But here we are now having letters. So let's see how that will work. Dot sort. Okay, so you have seen that for the case of this, because they are strings, they have been sorted in alphabetical order. You can see Anita A is now the first. Dennis D is now the second. Ivan, Joe, Peter, and lastly Simon. So when you're dealing with strings, it will sort for you the elements in alphabetical order. But if you are having numbers, for example, let's have a list of marks here for some of my friends. Okay, there is one who got 18 out of 20, another one got 17, another one got 19, another one got 16, and the last one got 15. So if you want to sort, have I already grouped? Okay, they are not grouped. If I want to print this list of marks in order, I'll just say marks, I'll just say marks dot sort, marks dot sort, and then here I say print marks. Okay, you see it has sorted them for me from the lowest to the highest. It has not brought them in the order by which I assigned these elements inside the list here. So that is sort for you. Okay, then there are other methods like count, index, reverse. You will try to research about this. You research about this and you see what they do. And then we are looking at looping through a list. This concept, we already looked at it when we were dealing with loops, but just to more emphasize it, let's say I want to print these names here of my friends. I have to print them one by one. Initially, when I was saying print, and then I put names, initially when I was doing this, you see it was printing the whole list the way it is. But me, I want to print them one by one without printing them as a list. So I would use a for loop when I say for name in names. Here, here where I've said for name in names, I could use any variable, whether X, whether I, or anything. But because I'm trying to be to make my things readable, I've used name because the list I'm dealing with is the list of names. If maybe I had a list of marks, maybe I would say for mark in marks. Maybe if I was having a list of animals, I would say for animal in animals. Or maybe if I was having a list of what? Of students, see what. But just know that you will name this variable according to the list you are dealing with, and you just try to make sure that your naming convention makes your program readable. Okay, so I would say for name in names, print rich name. So even someone who doesn't know programming, they will know that here you're iterating through the list of names, and for every name which you meet, you want it to be printed on the screen. Let me do this, and there we go. The names have been printed one by one. So here what we are doing is that we are going to begin from index 1, and the item or the name at index 1 will be assigned to name. Then we come and print it, go to the next index, print it, and so on and so forth. You know how the loops work. And that is the looping through items in a list. And then there is what we call list slicing. List slicing means printing just part of a list, some elements in a list, and not returning all the elements. So to do that, you use this colon here. It's called the colon operator. So let's say I want to print names from Peter up to Dennis. Let's see how we do that. Let's get rid of this. Okay, okay. All right. So I will say that I want to print names from Peter up to Dennis. Peter is at index 1. Dennis is at index what? This is 2, 3, 4, 5. So what will I say? Let's say print names from index 1, which is Peter, and Dennis is at index 5. Let me put 5 and see what happens. So you've seen it has printed from Peter up to Job. So, but here I wanted up to Dennis. So this is where the logic is. If you wanted to print from Peter up to Dennis, then here you have to put the index which comes after Dennis, which is now 6. What you should know is that the last index which you put here is not printed. It prints this index here minus 1. So if I want to print item from index 1, which is Peter, item at index 5, which is Dennis, here I should specify that I want you to print from 1 up to 6. What you to know that it is stopping at 5. Okay, so now when I run, I will be having my Dennis here now. So guys, that is how list slicing works here. Okay, oh yeah, here's your take home. You will create a list called fruits that contains items apple, banana, mango, orange. Then your task is to perform the following actions on the list. You will add a grape to the list. You will insert kiwi at the second position. You will remove banana from the list. You will remove the last item from the list and store it in a variable called last fruit. You will go through the methods we have been using, and you will find out which method works for which of these tasks. But we have looked at all of these methods. Then sort the list in alphabetical order. Count how many times apple appears in the list. Remove the last item. Reverse the list using the reverse method. Print out the final list and the value of last fruit in a well-formatted output using string formatting. So I want you to print out the final list and the value of last fruit in a well-formatted output. Of course, you have to use some string formatting skills. Yeah, that is your take home for today. And that's it for me today. My name is Simon. Uh, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to follow us on X at Camp on X, at Camp on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel and let's keep growing our camp community. Remember, we are here to build Camp AI, and that's what we are doing. So, my name is Simon, and these are the Camp Python series. Till next time, I'm out.